Dateline, November 22nd, 2011. 8 GOP presidential candidates take to the stage for the 69th bazillionth time to pointlessly debate. This time, it wasn't Rick Perry who said the stupid thing of the night, but rather nuNewt Gingrich. Out of the blue, Newt Gingrich gave us exactly what he needed to distract everyone from his recent comments not denying global warming on the Mark Levin radio show. Again, he decided to piss everyone off, saying, "If you've been here 25 years, and you've got 3 kids and 2 grandkids, paying your taxes and obeying the law, you belong to a local church, I don't think we're going to separate you from your family and uproot you forcefully and kick you out." Of course, he was speaking about illegal immigrants. Right before that, saying there needed to be a panel to decide the cases, and those here new have to leave. Countless people like to say he's the smartest candidate on the stage, which isn't too hard when you've got Rick Perry and Ron Paul around you. And indeed, he is a very intelligent man, who makes Obama look as bright as his brother still living in a hut overseas. Yet this is perhaps one of the most profoundly stupid things ever uttered by a GOP 2012 candidate. Aside from the fact, is deeply insulting in taking the Democrat Party line of saying, though not directly this time, that Republicans are evil, hate Mexicans, want to kill Grandma after we feed her her last meal of dog food, and give kids asthma. It's one of the most uninformed, moronic propositions ever by the candidates. It's fraught with deep, deep cracks that not even Nancy Pelosi's super-strength Botox could smooth out. And like all other stupendously dumb illegal immigration ideas proposed, it solves nothing, makes it worse, and immigration would continue. There are at least a dozen major problems with the plan that leaped out at me. The first, 25 years. This is completely arbitrary. Why not 26? Why not 24 or 23? What about 15? You go by a panel. No, scratch that rather. The legal immigrant goes by a panel staffed, no doubt bipartisan, and he'll speak in broken English. "Oh, gentlemen, I've been a faithful attendee of a local church, have 2 kids, and overpaid my taxes every year. But I've only been here 24 years. And boom, suddenly he or she gets to stay. And how exactly do we know how long they've been here? There's no way to know for sure. No records. You don't think Mexico's going to have them. What are we going to do? Ask them? Police officers can't even ask suspected illegal aliens about their citizenship status on a stop. Yet now somehow Newt is going to pull this off? A mass of people crossed over into our country illegally, sometimes paying to get smuggled here, stole personal information like social security numbers, paid under to no taxes, are going to fess up to the truth in order to stay here? Really? Stay here and milk our system or go back to their poverty-stricken hellhole country? Which to choose, you can drink the water here after all. Newt tried to ease this by saying he would not make them citizens, and that way they could not vote. This is 100 times more stupid than sitting on the couch next to Nancy Pelosi for a global warming commercial, so close you could smell Princess Pelosi's Botox. It's simply bewildering. For one, illegal aliens are voting in elections every year. Over 1 million vote in Florida. Over 800,000 estimated illegal alien voters in Chicago alone. Many sanctuary cities allow illegal aliens to vote. And for cities, states, that don't so willingly do that, there are states like Utah and New Mexico who don't require proof of citizenship to get a driver's license, which is pretty much all you need to get a voting card. Oregon openly admits to just giving them one. Not only will this continue if Newt gets elected, but it will worsen once 10 million plus illegal aliens are allowed to stay here. Well, pick your number, it doesn't really matter. There's about over 35 million of them here illegally, not counting their anchor babies. And he can't force the federal government to stop that, since it's a state's right. Gingrich would accomplish in one foul swoop what Democrats have been trying to do for years: create more illegal alien voters. All for our benefit, of course. Our cold, heartless bastard benefit. But the second aspect of this is far more damning and damaging to America. What he is proposing is creating 10 million plus, and yearly growing, class of non-citizens living in America. An entirely different group of people who are not Americans, many with allegiance to Mexico or whatever the country they come from, with their own interest at heart. No future Congress is bound by previous Congresses, and no president is bound by the wants and opinions of his or her predecessor. It's baffling how stupid Newt could be. No one in their right mind is going to allow there to be multi-millions in expanding portion of legal aliens in the United States. Either one strict conservative will deport them, or one Democrat president will give them amnesty. Leaving them here is just temporarily suspending amnesty. Again, as a spin-off to the above, if no Congress and no president are bound by the predecessors, then how can you control the border as Newt suggested? For one, take a step backwards and ask yourself, if and when the borders are sealed shut, will you bet a year's salary Newt would be the one? I didn't think so. And thus, since you can't seal the borders, there would be an influx of illegal aliens coming into America and claiming they've been here 25 years, or coming in and simply waiting however many years they think it would do it, to fool people. We'd have to assign a huge number of new government employees to research and track illegal aliens, wasting countless millions of taxpayer money every year. And we'd have an entire underground class of people, citizens or not, who will falsify claims an illegal in question has been here 25 or more years. Ever hear about smugglers being paid to sneak illegal aliens in? How about we make that a permanent thing on our side of the border, where an illegal alien pays a person to lie on his or her behalf? Wouldn't that be grand? How about people with evil intentions who will blackmail other people to lie about it? And since when would we, America, be forcing a family apart? Anchor babies is a liberal bastardization of a law never meant as written or intended for use for illegal alien immigrants. In fact, it wasn't meant for illegal aliens who crossed in at all. Their kids are not citizens. If you love them, take them with you. But a lot of illegals these past couple decades don't have kids out of love or family, but rather to create an anchor which will keep them here in America and drawing benefits. There's a large secret market in America where illegals pay to sneak in, give birth, and then have their anchor. There are literally illegal alien birthing hotels. Perhaps you saw that on the news. Are these people we want staying here? Look no further than the case of an illegal Mexican alien, Elvira Arellano, who, upon threat of deportation in 2006, took sanctuary in a Chicago church for a whole year. It was a big news story on the liberal media. You probably heard it. She cried and moaned about not wanting to leave her newborn baby, which she didn't have to leave. She could have taken the kid with her. Yet, when she finally exited the church and was deported, guess who didn't go with her? No, not Alberto Gonzalez. The separation of family and their kids for lawbreakers, legal American citizens, is nothing new, by the way. And if this was not enough, Newt opens up a whole new evil can of worms, bringing religion into the mix. What? Are you going to have an official government sanctioning of illegal aliens attending Wiccan gatherings? Hell, if the military allows it, then why not the Border Enforcement Panel? How about Scientologists? How about those of an extremist sect of Islam? What if they deny one? Now we got to get a federal court involved, which groups like CARE and La Raza and the ACLU would bring all the way up to the Supreme Court. The contemplation of the outcome is most awful. What about religions not officially recognized by the government? What if the illegal alien had been a faithful, non-violent member of one for years? It's an evil hole you can never dig yourself out of, which the dirt thereof tossed out only serves to bury the American people. And for Glenn Beck, to say nothing about the 8-tentacled space octopus. At one point, Michele Bachmann spoke of needing qualified labor and that legal immigrants are always needed, citing Bill Gates, who lobbied Congress at one point for more approval. But in reality, this is false. A study showed about 10 million American citizens have the skills. Those millions have STEM degrees in science, technology, engineering, and math, but either don't choose to pursue careers in respective fields or can't get hired. 10 million, yet only about 1 million STEM degrees are needed. Yet, as you read this, the workforce participation rate, estimated number of people working who can work, is at its lowest rate since 1984 to somewhere around 64% working. Let's just use that number. That means on top of the 10 million skilled people we already have, there are an unknown millions more from that 36% of people who are not working. We have a huge surplus of Americans, highly skilled, now looking for work, even back then when Gates pissed and moaned to Congress. There aren't enough job openings for legal citizens, yet we've got Bachmann supporting Brian Moore, I'm sure she just didn't do the research, and Gingrich wanting to create more unemployed people who could then in turn get financial aid. What jobs are these sanctioned illegal aliens going to hold? Yet, here we are with a Republican candidate implying we're all evil for trying to enforce our laws and keep our sovereignty. These people are not obeying the law. They've broken multiple laws, including the initial one of entering the country illegally. A few studies have shown typically illegal aliens break multiple laws, including rampant ID theft, and a large portion of the ones who do remarkably pay taxes underpay. They send large amounts of money back to Mexico to support friends and family there, stimulating the Mexican economy, and to pay to get them across the border illegally too. One recent study by the government reported on the southern border showed 93 sex offenders entering every day, 12 of those serial offenders. 5,999 victims of sexual abuse and attack, were found, or 4 Americans per each illegal alien on average. If the FBI and the CIA couldn't communicate properly to prevent 9/11, how in the world would Newt think that government panel and hundreds of police stations across the country could, especially if records are lost, not kept, or court sealed, be able to find out if any of these 25 or more year illegal aliens are from the sexual offenders? Never mind that 1 in 4 has ties to terrorism, and that Hezbollah says it's sending agents across the border with false Mexican identities. Do you know what an OTM is? Ask a seasoned Border Patrol officer, cause apparently Newt hasn't. Alan West and Newt Gingrich should really speak sometime. Can you vote for this man? I can't. I'll take him over Obama, but only then. The only thing he's good for is casting a vote on the Republican side. There are huge, pressing issues which will take all of one term and a second term to deal with, including the repeal of Obamacare, the destruction of the EPA and reversal of its regulations, awful debt problems, severe unemployment, Israel surrounded by enemies, including one on the brink of nuclear weapons that has multiple times stated it's going to wipe Israel off the face of the map, and American citizens like George Soros, Van Jones, and Stephen Lerner plotting our destruction and collapse, as well as messing with other countries. But thank God Newt is on top of the real issue Americans are worried about right now, illegal aliens not yet deported. He has his thumb on the pulse of a brick, only about 10 years behind the curve. The real answers are so simple, a caveman and Harry Reid could do it. Seal the border shut. EPA out of the way, the fence can go up fast. Just research how quickly the Sears Tower was built. Man it. Barbed wire, electric fence, heck, even moats with alligators. I'll take sharks with freaking lasers attached to their heads just as long as it gets the job done. Fines and jail time for each illegal hired. Cut off the money flow and you almost eliminate the reason they come here. Deny all services, schooling, licenses, government programs, and welfare financial services. That's our money. Yes, deport them. Hire and train ICE agents. Real creative jobs, though half will be admittedly temporary. Repeal the anchor baby law. Make English the official language of America. Do not offer government paperwork in Spanish, French, or Chinese. Do not offer translator help or menus in Spanish. It's a lot harder to hide if you don't speak the language of the land. Even Winston Churchill remarked more than once that our common language was important. Stop the flow of illegal narcotics into the U.S. The Mexican drug cartels that control large areas of Mexico and cooperate with Hezbollah and Hamas have so far murdered an estimated 30,000 Mexican citizens, along with one unnamed American citizen found in a mass grave. And members have even crossed into our country and executed people who crossed them. Bet you didn't see that even on Fox News, right? They are funded by the purchase of drugs here. Cut off that funding and ability to cross the border, and they lose financial stability and support of Hezbollah, who says they've been using the border for years. The conditions in Mexico will not improve until the cartels and gang members are dealt with and the people stand up. Once real improvement is seen, give non-financial aid, technical support, and skills to the people so that they can rebuild Mexico and ultimately have their own Mexican dream. We don't reward lawbreakers, those who do not assimilate or come here to be American, who give us the middle finger and say F you in Spanish. Our laws, flag, people, basic foundations of our nation don't mean dilly squat to them. They do as they want, as they please. America be damned. And Newt wants to reward these people. The entire world sees our sovereignty as a joke, and people cross over illegally from over 12 different countries. The overwhelming massive majority from Mexico, and others say they use the southern border too. This is our country, Newt, and we want it back. Peddle your baloney elsewhere. Oh, and the horse you rode in on.